This red is redding. Oh,
Morning. Oh,
good morning.
let me try that again. Oh, my battery's running low. What's going on here? Hold on. Time out.
Yeah,
All right. How's that?
it's good. Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, the studio changed locations. It's now in your kitchen, huh?
I'm always in my kitchen. This is just a different perspective that you're
And it
seeing
and
right
it
now.
looks like you got over your fear of painting your cabinets.
Oh my gosh. Aren't they beautiful,
Look
Dave?
at that. Hey, you know what? The lowers are pretty darn close to the color that we chose for Medina. Yeah.
Really?
Um, when they all get done, I should have snapped them because the lowers that have been painted, the uppers are going in next week.
Do you remember what color they are?
No, some shade of green.
Mm. These are cypress green. I always like to pick a name that calls to me. That's kind of like a theme for the house. And so, yeah, these are cypress green. I decided to put shutters on my house. They're being built, and the color for that is Old Glory.
So I think our colors are more like green.
No, that's very boy of
And
you.
that one.
No.
No,
No, we're gonna paint spot you,
no,
and we're
they
gonna
all
pick
have color.
pick the name.
So our colors are like Greek villa is our trim.
Yeah, that is a very popular
Yep,
white.
yep. So we got the trim.
Yep,
We
beautiful.
have some walls are accessible beige.
Yep. This is what the gray was supposed to be right
Yep.
here.
Um,
Yeah,
we have the dark ebony colors that are kind of in between espresso and ebony. I can't remember what they're called, but
Sherwin-Williams iron
it
ore. That one
might
of
be.
them.
All of our doors
Mm-hmm.
are painted in that, and the music cabinets, the cabinets that are next to the fireplace that used to be the ugly oak orange, honey oak are now that color. And then our beams are all that color now. The fake beams that we have, it really looks nice.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, there's not going to be a trace of oak in that whole house, except for the porch we left that as that kind of that northwoods flair. But other than that, everything's going to be that. And then our hardwood floors, the guy came out yesterday and he is going to redo the living room and dining room floor. And then they're laying new hardwood in the kitchen and the eating area. And it's all going to be like a dark walnut finish. So it's going to be a nice contrast. So yeah,
That's enough going on. That's a
it's a
lot.
lot going on. Yeah. Yeah. This is, we're in the territory of major remodel here. You know, we're beyond facelift. We're now in major remodel mode, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be really nice.
Gonna be worth it for all those times you don't entertain your
Exactly.
friends.
Yeah. I think we'll invite everyone that we know over once, and then we'll be done.
Yeah, here you go. You see it? We
Yeah.
did it. We did
Yeah,
this.
we did this, and now look at that. Okay. What's on TV?
See you in a couple years. I still haven't had a housewarming party
Down here.
for my house. I'm sure my neighbors are like, Ashley, like, you moved in almost 2 years ago. Like, when you gonna invite us over? And I'm just like, I don't need more wine. If that's part of it. That's part of it. But also there's so much I want to do. You know what I did this weekend besides watch somebody try to build shutters? I painted my wall right here. You can't see it. It's just behind you. Lavender.
Just lavender or a special Sherwin-Williams one? Well, you said all the colors have, cool name.
Yes. What's the color name of my lavender? Oh, what is it? It's a Benjamin Moore color. Now you're going to have to make me get up and get it because it's a funny name too. I picked it because here it is. Orleans lavender. Don't you roll your eyes at me. Cool. I'm gonna text you a picture so you can see a live
So
time. Where's
you are
Dave's
brand
picture at?
agnostic then. You go from Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin, whatever works for you. You don't have any brand loyalty?
Well, whenever I was married to a contractor, I went to the Benjamin Moore, is it Hirschfield's? And they're a Benjamin Moore dealer, Hirschfield's in Wayzata, I think it is. And I'm like, hey, here's my business card. Can I get a fan deck of the colors? So that's why I usually have Benjamin Moore and I just match them in Home Depot paint. What is this? I can't, I'm like multitasking. I take so many screenshots. Okay, let me send this to you. While I'm sending that, I'll send you this as well.
A great joke the other day. Oh, that is lavender. Wow.
Orleans lavender.
Yeah. Yeah, that would look good in someone else's house now.
It would look good in the Zen Den, which is why it's here.
Oh, yeah. And the cat's giving you a high 10.
He's playing Who's That Kitty? Every time we see each other, we have to love up on each other, and he leans back and does that.
So he gets his belly scratched.
Yeah. Who's that kitty?
Did you know that if you sneeze and fart at the same time, your body takes a screen snap?
There even a segue to this. Is it a joke? Like, where is this coming?
I read that the other day, and I had to remember it.
It takes a screen snap. Why, Dave? Why?
Because maybe that's just an Apple thing, but you have to hit two buttons at the same time to take a screen grab. Do you have to do that on your phone?
Yeah, I do have to do that on my
See, that's the concept we're going for there with the human.
Where does it store your screenshots so you could look at them later?
Now, this doesn't have to be taken literally. Okay, the story ends here with the punchline.
Oh, it's a metaphor for life. Oh my gosh. I also had a retractable sliding door put in on my front door, and it's amazing.
Retractable meaning like a pocket door?
Kind of. It works like a pocket door, Dave, but it's a retractable sliding door.
So like this?
Usually, it goes just one side of it. So usually I don't want to put a door in front of the front door because in Minnesota, you had to deal with that. Open up two doors when you're coming in with things. And that's annoying. But this, I could leave the retractable sliding door open and you barely even see it when it is closed. And so I have complete freedom with my front door. I'll show you what my podcast setup looks like right now, and you'll see a little bit. The sliding door is closed, but it looks like the door is wide open. Now he's going to hoot and holler. Tell me if you could pick up the cat meowing on the audio.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, wow, look at all that. Oh, yeah. Is that the door? Is that the retractable door?
Yes, it's closed.
So it just kind of slides and folds into itself?
Yes. I had never heard of this. So it's like for people who kind of need that pocket door situation that don't want to deal with the door sometimes, but need the door sometimes. It's the best of both worlds. And it's like $250 at Lowe's or Home Depot. I know.
Well, they have to look at it from down here.
Yeah. He pulled the top of that screen off. He climbed it. That boy scaled the whole door. And that was one of the decisions. I was like, I know if I get a screen door, he's going to climb this door. But it's worth it to me to kind of risk a couple $100 to see if I could train him not to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. What can you put on there that would repel him?
Nothing. So I just closed the door. I lost my light. Not happy about that. Yeah. So I could keep him outside while I record. I could close the door and install the ring light mirror. I could, the thing to get him off of anything is not to yell at him, not to clap my hands, not to say moon, because he just looks at me and is like, What up, ho? What up? I'm not doing anything. You squirt him. He's like, you have to distract him. Be like, hey, here's something better. Come here. That's the only thing. I want to hear about how your class went on Friday. So, about your workshop on Friday, what did they learn?
Forget me.
Ask them. One of the things that I remember about situation analysis is Mary, your wife, telling me about it. She's like, my life is a mess. And she's like, Ashley, I wrote in the center of the page. I drew a big circle and I said, my life is a mess. So I started directing out. Here are the things that's happening because my life is a mess. This wasn't a real story. She's really great at making real stories out of fake stories. Yeah. But she used it as an example. My life is a mess. And you write it really big. And then you start separating out. Here's the things that are happening because my life is a mess. My bills are out of whack. My job is frustrating me. My cat is being annoying, right? And so you have all these circumstances. So tell us the point of situation analysis and how it helps people feel better.
Yeah. Well, to use that language, it helps you unravel a mess, right? You've got a situation that's causing some pain. And that pain could be anything. It could be, in personal life, it could be distress, like she was talking about. In business, the pain could be, lost time, lost productivity, lost money, lost sales. So it could be, conflict. It could be all kinds of.
It could be all of
those things. It could be problems that need to get solved because if they don't, we're not going to. That kind of thing. And so what situation analysis is really good at doing is taking that situation or that mess or that problem, or that thing, that big blob that you're facing that you're trying to figure out, and helps you really systematically figure out what's contributing to it, what's not, what things are relevant, what stuff is just noise that needs to get set aside. And it helps you prioritize those things that really, if you acted on them, will make a difference, will make the situation better, will solve the problem, will end the distress, and give you the kind of freedom to say, okay, here are these things. Here's 2 or 3 things, or 2 or 3 or 4 things. Now I know if I focus on these and let the other ones aside, just put them aside, I'm going to make maybe some really big. And it just uses kind of the basics of critical thinking, and if you want to call that logic, to help you through this. But the problem is when people are in that mode, a lot of times there's so much stress or distress, it's hard to kind of push the button on logical critical thinking because everything else is coming at you, flying at you. And so, we need a way or a prompt or even a system or a method to help us to do that, to press the ration and say, okay, I'm going to look at this ration. Now in business and teams, you can take that same scenario and let's say a team is dealing with a problem. Now you have the pain multiplied by many because you've got multiple people affected in this situation or this problem, this mess. And they're all processing the pain a little differently because, or they sit in the organization team, but they all know that they need to figure out a way to move forward and get something done to make pain. And so, as a tool, situation analysis is really, really good at getting everyone on the same page, getting alignment on what's really relevant versus stuff you can go. So that again, when you decide to do something, that the team has got a high confidence that what they're doing is going to pay them. And if they have to communicate it to somebody, which they almost always do, they can very easily tell the story with situation analysis. Here's the situation. Here's all the effects that it's causing. Here's the pain that's being experienced by us and everyone else or the organization. And here's our analysis. Here's what we believe key contributing factors, why they're contributing. And here's what we want to do. And here's the thing. here's what's going to happen if we do this. And if we need, maybe we need some extra resources, or maybe we need a little money, or maybe we need something to help us get there. We can show those that have the approval. Remember last time we talked about the rapid, those that have the D on making those decisions, we can show them payoffs. Say, hey, if we do this, this, and this, here's the payoff. What do you think? And we make, and it's just a very easy to do it. And then finally, once we do that stuff, once we enable those actions, again, I'm talking more about business situation, but you can apply this in personal life too. Where we enable our action plan, and now we're doing stuff, and now we look back after some time has passed, and we can say, hey, is our action plan working? Is the pain going away? And you can measure it. And situation analysis helps you measure it. Say, oh my gosh, it's working because the situation now is much better than it was in the past. Or the answer might be, it's working partially, but we still need to do something else. And maybe we have to enable another action to make the pain. It gives you a way to follow that issue.
Sure. What I like about situation analysis is that it helps you focus on the right issue or the biggest issue that's going to alleviate your pain. And I'll explain this in a way that, like, I was asking a friend of mine, hey, how's it going at work? And he sends me a picture and he's like, we're remodeling. And there's like desks everywhere. And it's like just kind of a mess. And he's like, this situation is really frustrating for me. And I'm like, why? And he's like, there's too many chiefs in the kitchen. There's not a structure. There's not a plan. Everybody's throwing in their input, and it's frustrating to me. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking about that. I'm like, this would be really good segment for Ask Ash and Dave. Tell us your problem, tell us your situation, and like submit it to us either live on the air or through comments on Facebook or Instagram, or maybe we'll set up a video recording where we'll play your voicemail to us. So that was last week. And I asked him yesterday, I'm like, can you send me a few sentences? We're going to be recording a podcast tomorrow. And I'd love to like kind of pose this formally to Dave and kind of get his feedback on it. And he's like, the owner is planning an exit and gifting the company to her 27-year-old daughter-in-law. She's 5 years out of college. She's now a part-time owner, general manager, office manager, facilities manager, and also our salesman. She's not an expert in any of these positions. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with the remodel.
That sounds like its own situation, not the one that you were just...
What? Like, here you start at this tiny issue of this is frustrating me, but you start to dig deeper and there's lots of frustrations happening, right? There's lots of frustrations, but what is the stem of this? She wasn't qualified to do this, and I'm qualified to do this, but now she's here and I'm her assistant. Whoa, right? So there's like some deeper issues going on that is causing resentment. And this remodel is feeding into, I'm not happy, right? And that's kind of a situation now. I'm not happy. I feel pain. Yeah. What is the true source? Okay, here's all the sources of my pain.
Yeah, and I'll back up to a concept that we can probably all believe in. And the concept is everyone wants control of their life, right? They don't want control of our life. I mean, maybe not total control, but enough that we feel like we are in some kind of control.
You want to feel empowered.
Yeah, like you can control what's happening around. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying it totally, but enough that you feel like, okay, I've got to handle. So when you talk about an issue like that, then what I would say is this: I'm not happy. Might be the situation, and this situation at work with the new boss might be one part of it, might be one issue, but there's probably a bunch of other issues too, right? And at the end of the day, once you kind of see the big picture, then we'll ask the question, okay, what are the things that are relevant? What are the big drivers? But then we'll also ask this: what things do I have control to change? And
Do you really ask that? Okay, you ask, what are the big issues? What are the drivers? And then you say, what can I
yeah,
change?
so in the process, we're looking at, again, big issue. I'll clean it up a little bit. All the big chunks that are contributing to that issue. Okay. So the big things, the big chunks. And then for each big chunk, and there's a bunch of ways we figure that out. But then for each big chunk, what can we do to move forward? What can we do to resolve that chunk? What can we do to make that chunk less of a problem? And in that discussion, then we're going to have the what can you control versus what can't you control. And there are some situations where, if this person took a look at the issue, he or she might end up with like 4 chunks, one of which is this thing. Probably not controllable because you got the owner of their company
Right.
doing something and you're not
Yeah.
going to change that course of action. But the other 3 chunks might be controllable. And if you can get a handle on those, this 4th one may not be as big of a deal as we thought.
Right.
And it might be a situation where, you know what, I can manage it. I can live with it. We can figure out some ways to do it. But if you have a situation that's causing pain and you have 3 or 4 big chunks that you, through the analysis, you say, yep, these are the biggies. And you look at them and you go, well, I can't control this. I have only a little control over that. This 3rd one, yeah, I'm totally in control. I have no way to fix that. And the 4th one, yeah, maybe a little bit. Then you might look at all that and go, oh, I'm in a bad situation. Because the things that are really driving the situation, I have little or no control. And unless I flex and become okay with the situation by maybe adapting somehow, I'm probably like, this is probably not going to be a good thing. And that might be a signal to say, I got to get out of here. Or I got to change something to lessen my dependence. Um, but a lot of people might say, I'm guessing maybe one of the first reactions of this person was, this thing happened. Now this younger person is running the show. I now report to this person. I got to get. But until you really look at the whole picture, that may not be the answer. There may be other answers that are going to be perfectly good and that may be great that for me to
Mhm.
stay after looking at it. So that's what the tool can help you to do is really have a good look at it. So that when you decide what to do, you got some confidence that you're going to make some progress. Or in this case, you might have 2 or 3 or 4 things that you're going to try and do and actions. And then some time goes by and you look back and you assess whether it worked or not. And if they did work, great, you're off and, your life's better. If they didn't work, then maybe that's the signal that says, change.
Right, right. One of the things I asked him once I heard more about the messiness and pain that he was feeling, I was like, are there any other options that you can think of that you can pull from besides play by their rules or
Yeah.
because we tend to look at our life or look at certain situations that we're in at work in terms of
Yeah. There
binary
you go. Yeah.
decision, right?
Lord.
Right? Can you explain a little bit more about binary decisions and the trouble that they can
Yeah, let
cause?
me back up though and just mention one thing because you said it just a minute ago. He talked about the pain he was experiencing. That seemed to dominate the conversation, at least early on. That's very normal, right? Because when you're in a
Ooh.
situation, again, personally or in business, but maybe even more personally, that's causing you pain, we like to express that pain. And so if you're on the listening side of it, you're going, okay, yep, that's some pain. That's enough in cause effect language. That's an effect. Here's some more pain. Okay, that's another effect. This other thing that's really hurting me too. Okay, there's a third effect, but nowhere have we even started the conversation to talk about causes or other factors. And so without a process to guide us, we may be tempted just to kind of be in the realm of make this pain go away. And the easiest way to make pain like that go away is just leave. Just maybe I'll just go. Maybe I'll find
Leave the
leave the
situation.
situation. Um,
Do you think that's a defense mechanism, like escaping, running
yeah,
away?
there might be. there might be, here's another concept that we'll talk about maybe in a little bit, but as humans, maybe even more so than past generations, we are wired to see comfort, right? We
Yeah.
are wired to see, yeah,
Absolutely.
control and comfort, but comfort. So physically, that might mean finding the best chair for me to sit in while I'm watching Netflix. You know,
With a throw pillow behind my back and my feet up on a
that's
boat.
right. It could also be in a work situation. You know what? This work situation is causing a lot of discomfort. I got to leave so I can find comfort. And
Mhm.
that's normal, but that also can be very dangerous too. And so,
Why?
because seeking comfort is a very narrow way to look at options. It's a very narrow way to look at, in fact, it's a safe way to look at growth. Because if you are seeking comfort, chances are you're not seeking growth. Now you might ask, well, do I have to seek growth? Well, no, you don't have to, but then you need to accept everything that goes with it. If I'm not seeking growth, then I can't complain about my current situation. I can't complain about the fact that I don't have more than I have. I can't complain about the fact that I can't do something when I should. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah. You are dropping the
I
mic
know.
on
So,
us.
comfort is the enemy of growth. Real.
Mhm.
And that plays out in a lot of different ways. So back to the decision making, when you frame something in binary terms, should I stay on this job or should I leave? That's really kind of a comfort question in disguise. Um, should I stay in the job? That means, oh, I'm going to have some discomfort and I don't know if I can live with that. Or should I leave because that's going to feel good temporarily? Um,
Mhm.
and so if I'm only, concerned about my own comfort, I might just choose to leave because I got to get out. I got to make this pain go away and I got to seek comfort. Now, making pain go away and seeking comfort are kind of two different things. Um, yeah, it's a matter of degree. Yeah, if you're just seeking comfort, then chances are you're going to find yourself in a similar situation. So when we phrase things in binary terms, that's looking at things in a very narrow perspective, right? And so in decision making, you and I talk about this a lot, that one of the things that we will do is broaden the scope of our decision and figure out, all right, how can we reframe this decision to create more options? So to give ourselves more options in a wider lens to look at things, because maybe there's solutions there that we never would have thought of because we framed this decision as such narrow perspective, stay or go, A or B, yes or no, that kind of thing. Yeah. So if we were working with this individual and it was decision time, should I stay or should I go?
Mhm.
We would most likely reframe that somehow to say, choose best career option for me, now, or
Choose best work
choose best
environment
environment, or
for
choose
me.
something. And now you'd have your existing scenario. You might have a new scenario, but you might have a whole bunch of other scenarios. Maybe there's some hybrid scenarios. Maybe there's other that, because we've broadened the lens a little bit, we can now explore those things. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So that's what I would have to say about that.
Is that all you know about the
That's all
stuff
I
you
know
know,
about that
Dave?
stuff. Anyway, I think I'm just trying a little bit.
And the things we're talking about right now is situation analysis. And the last part of that conversation is decision analysis, where we frame the
Yeah.
decision statement the best way
Yeah.
possible. And all of that stuff, if you want to learn more, is at focustools.com/decision hyphen focus.
Decision hyphen focus. And one of the things that we can do so that all this stuff can be learned online, self-paced, right? Or you can go to a workshop.
Yeah.
But either way, if you enroll, then you get you and me as coaches too. So that once you learn the stuff, if you're a client like this, and this gentleman learned situation analysis and was wanting to apply it, and he's kind of hit this place where he goes, well, I think it, well, then that's why you hired that person to say, oh, here's how you apply thinking in this situation. Yeah.
Right, right. And you created online courses that are virtual, that are self paced, independent study courses where they get our framework. they get the Excel spreadsheets that have the appropriate, here's how I do everything laid out. And they use this in the live workshop as well, the Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah. So
yeah.
There you have.
Awesome. But yeah, I think that is all we know. Got it. Thanks, Dave.
Hey everyone, Dave here. Hey, I got a question for you. Do you think you really know how to make great decisions? If you're like me, the answer is yeah, I make great decisions. I've got a good job and I've been at this for a long time, and yeah, I'm a good decision maker. Well, guess what? Think again. Here's the deal. Your brain thinks it's a pro at decision making, when in reality, guess what? Our brains are running on outdated software full of bugs and biases and sneaky habits and stuff. And so that's one of the reasons why we wrote the book, 5 Things You Really Need to Know About Making Decisions. We've been at this decision making training game for 30 years. And what we've discovered is time and time again, there are certain things that people do or don't do that get in the way of making good decisions. So that's really what the book's all about, is if you can boil it down to a few things that we can focus on to make consistently good decisions, even when our brain is, like I said earlier, kind of sneaking its way around us, trying to get in the way of making good decisions, we're going to be better at it. So pick up the book, give it a read. It's a quick read. We didn't go for preachy, we didn't go for theory, we went for practical. So that's what I hope you get from the book. Pick up a copy and see what you think.
All We Know About the Stuff We Know is built for people like you who want to think better, lead better, and connect better, at work and beyond. If this show has sparked new ideas or helped you navigate something really challenging in your life, we'd love to connect with you. Follow us on Instagram at The Stuff We Know Show, or get in touch with us on the web at www.focustools.com. Like what you're hearing? Let us know. Leave a review. It takes 30 seconds and makes a huge difference. Your engagement helps more people find us, and it helps us keep bringing you the good stuff. And hey, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up. See you next time for All We Know About the Stuff We Know.